So I got you tuned in for another episode of Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and Dr. Chunk Anta Diop said, what? Man. So, for those of y'all who don't know who Dr. Ivan Van Sertima is, he the person who made these people stop lying about how Christopher Columbus discovered America at the United Nations. And Chunk Anta Diop, the one who destroyed Darwinism and showed the out of Africa theory. The reason why a lot of these people who try to teach about history, when they don't bring up Benjamin Banneker or W.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, all these people who worked at the UN, who laid out way more stuff than Martin Luther King and Malcolm X ever could have, and no disrespect to them, but laid out way more facts than they ever could. I'm talking about the legwork has already been done. What's happening, there's so many false philosophies and ideology that these men of today, old and young, are so disrespectful to the men who came before them that they won't even pay homage. And then the majority of men are dead to homage to the people who showed you the game. So what we want to talk about is how racist and jealous these people were in the making of Star Wars movies. Oh yeah, I'm going there with Darth Vader and King Tut, right? Because in the movie Star Wars, Darth Vader is a black man, James Earl Jones. So James Earl Jones has these two children, just like King Tut had these two kids. But they never show you at the end of the movie, they were so racist, they didn't want you to see that Darth Vader was actually who? A black man. But later on in the story, you see what happened to his kids when the grandchildren find out that their father was Darth Vader. He killed Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. He like, out of her. And that's what's happening today. A lot of these people who actually know what's going on with Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and Chunk Anta Diop and Dr. Bean and John Henry Clark and all these people who have already destroyed these false philosophies and ideologies with radiocarbon dating, real physics. The only problem that I have with what they were saying when it comes to these skeletons and the origin of man and all this stuff is you still haven't tapped into the fact of where they all come from. Whether it's polygenetic, monogenetic, because we're not evolving from some homo sapien or this, that, and this sapien, and these 6 species of man before this species of man that came about. Because what we're dealing with here, I'm a hetero sapien, heterogeneous, never been homo nothing, a polygamist at that. Because we're not going back and forth from monotheism to polytheism no more than I'm going from monogenetics to polygenetics. It's all reverse zodiacs and that stuff. So an alpha male, if you must know what he is, and if he know who he is a heterogeneous polygamist. Period. The Black Crew Hefner. You know? That's it. Ain't no Silk Road. It's the Suez Canal. We pick cotton because what? We the only ones know how to get fly. Silk Road there. Alejandro Medici shouldn't have put on a dress and thought he was going to hook up with white women because you can't have Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey's speeches not knowing that Query 14 between Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Banneker had already existed to get free, and it still applies to this day. Once you achieve the level of Greco-Roman understanding, still know your African origin, check out the Diop saying, you hear me. That's important to you as a black man, just as much as Greco-Roman history is important to Western civilizations. Yeah. Very much important. Very much important. Screen kind of froze a little bit. Don't let it throw you off. The devil. Yeah, so you got to understand that these Japanese people were tied in with Hitler like this. So Booker T. Washington, Chunk Anta Diop knew about all the technologies that were stolen out of Egypt. It's in my epilogue in my book. Then I'm dealing with the Iroquois Embassy records and the United Nations Security Council. Because that's what we're taking this to. We're going back to the UN. Anybody ever seen that movie Scarface? Because if you still want to talk about reparations this summer, if you know nothing about the drug trade or human trafficking, stay the fuck out the building. Stay the fuck out the building. Because you don't know nothing about this reparation speech. You can't, it's virtually fucking impossible. Because if you don't know that the non-king treaty and these people been bringing diseases since they've been invading civilizations all over the world and poisons, you hear me? You don't know nothing about it and using it to create cheap labor, which is slavery. You about just as dumb as a motherfucker talking about 1619 with goddamn Tudor crosses. For real. It's a fucking bubble. Here today, gone tomorrow. So I'm on the Underground Railroad, baby. Young Chip the Great. And I'm going from a welfare system to entrepreneurship. Never go from welfare system to another welfare system to jail to night house rehab. None of this shit. You ever go from welfare system to rehab? Because remember, America's a welfare scheme, say it in the United States Constitution. At least, and remember your constitutional rights. Though it's still a scheme, you remember, make them play by their own rules and then introduce the truth. Because all these false philosophy and ideologies, doesn't matter what you claiming, you hear me, it's a gang or a religion, you hear me, they're all false philosophies and ideologies. And the reason Jay-Z is the #1 rapper, because he's still throwing up that goddamn pyramid. Then, at the Grammys, they got Stevie Wonder on stage, him, Smokey Robinson, and Barry Gordy with some damn trainers. If that's the most disrespectful shit I ever seen, then what is? Because remember, transsexuals have only been used throughout history for one reason and one reason only. Infiltration. I don't give a fuck if it was Big Mama's House for Martin. I don't give a fuck if it was Miss Doubtfire. I don't give a fuck with the Book of Esther for you Christian motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck. It has only been used for one thing and one thing only, for espionage and destruction. Don't trust no transformer Decepticons, period. It is an inferior level of species based on genetics. Ain't no Homo sapiens sapiens. It's heterosapien, heterosexual. That's what Dr. Miguel Hernandez was emphasizing in his book, the difference of the homogeneous, Ku Klux Klan, and heterogeneous. You got to understand why these people use these words who have these doctorate level of degrees of understanding. Why in the movie Mommy Returns, Amenhotep IV is supposed to be married to a Nux on the moon, but she really king to a wife. But where's King Tut in the story? No more than Darth Vader in the story. Because they want to write you out your history, but you already been rewrote into history if you stop disrespecting the people who already came before you, you young, dumb motherfuckers, and you old, coon, Uncle Tom ass niggas. Man, remember, when you're a soldier, everybody's a killer on the battlefield who know how to move the best. You hear me? And team getting rations, you hear me? And Buddha and spoils of war gonna determine who lives. Because remember, even when you're still dealing with real estate, it comes with dowry, not bride price. So, I'm really not gonna do too much music right now, or books, or none of that, you know? But I am interested in taking people out of the welfare system as socially economic disadvantaged individuals and making them multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs. So I'm still on that. You know? Young Chip the Great. Signing out. Love, peace, and hurt.